Let's be honest. Take a look at your hairbrush. Look at the drain after your shower. If you're tired of seeing more hair there than on your head and you're frustrated with dry, brittle, lifeless hair after 50, then you need to listen up. This isn't just about how you look. It's about how you feel when you face the mirror. Now, you've probably told yourself the same thing over and over. Well, this is just aging. There's nothing I can do. Let me be crystal clear. That is a myth. The real reason your hair is thinning and breaking isn't the number on your driver's license. The real culprit is a simple mistake you're making every few days inside your own shower. You are still washing your hair with the habits you had at 20, but your body is now playing by a completely different rule book. So, what you're about to see is more than just another list of hair tips. This is a complete system reboot. I'm giving you my proven ** 7-step hair washing method *, a total game plan engineered specifically for women over 50. We are going to transform a simple, everyday habit into a powerful strategy that will not only bring back the strength and health to your hair, but will restore the unshakable confidence that comes with it. Let's get to work. All right, let's get straight to the heart of the problem. No more guessing games. It's time to understand what is really going on with our hair. Let's break down the science behind why your hair is staging a rebellion after the age of 50. You've been asking why, right? I know you have. And the number one reason starts deep inside your body. It's a silent war being waged by your hormones, specifically a hero named estrogen and a villain called DHT. First up, estrogen. For most of your life, think of estrogen as your hair's personal growth coach. Its primary job was to keep your hair locked in the growth phase, which scientists call the anagen phase, for as long as possible. Thanks to this powerful hormone, your hair grew longer, stayed stronger, and was anchored firmly in your scalp. That's the reason your hair felt so thick and resilient in your 30s and 40s. But then, we enter perimenopause and menopause. So what changes? Well, your growth coach, estrogen, starts to retire. Your body's estrogen levels naturally decline. And when the hero of the story exits the stage, the villain is waiting in the wings to take over. That villain's name is DHT, which is short for dihydrotestosterone. I will never forget the moment this became real for me. I was getting ready to go to a friend's dinner party. I gathered my hair to pull it back into a simple ponytail, a style I'd worn a million times. And my hand just froze, the ponytail in my grasp. It felt like half of what it used to be. Have you ever had a moment like that? That gut punch feeling when a part of you that's so familiar suddenly feels like a stranger's? In that moment, I felt a genuine sense of panic. It wasn't until later that I learned I wasn't just imagining things. That was DHT at work. Here's what it does. DHT is toxic to your hair follicles. It attaches to them and begins to choke them out. The scientific term is miniaturization, but what it really means is that DHT shrinks your hair follicles. Imagine your hair follicle as a flower pot. When the pot is large and full of rich soil, the plant that grows from it is healthy and strong. But DHT comes along and forces that pot to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And what kind of hair do you think can grow from a tiny, shrunken pot? Exactly, a weak, flimsy, brittle strand of hair that can't hang on for very long. That is the true story behind thinning hair. It's not just that you're shedding more, it's that the hair growing back is a weaker, thinner version of its former self. And listen to me, you are not going through this alone. Did you know that data from the American Academy of Dermatology shows that more than 50% of women experience visible hair loss by the time they are 50? More than half of us. Let that sink in. This proves that what you're feeling is a shared experience, a natural part of our body's journey. So, the next time you feel that wave of frustration, I want you to remember this. It is not your fault. It is the result of that hormonal war happening inside of you. And now that you know the enemy's name is DHT, you can finally start to fight back intelligently. But what's happening inside your body is only half the story. The other half of the battle is taking place right on the surface, on the very foundation where your hair grows. And that is the aging of your scalp, a critical piece of the puzzle that almost everyone overlooks. That's right, the story of our hair isn't just about hormones. It's also about the very ground that your hair grows from. We're talking about your scalp. Now, I want you to really let this next idea sink in. It's a concept so simple, yet it is the key that unlocks everything. Your scalp is skin. Sounds obvious, doesn't it? But let me ask you a serious question. Do you actually treat it that way? Think about it. You invest your time, your money, your energy into the skin on your face. You use serums, moisturizers, and you would never dream of going outside without sunscreen. But have you ever, even once, put sunscreen on your scalp? Or looked for a hydrating serum for it? Probably not. Most of us completely ignore it, treating it like it's a totally separate entity. Trust me, I was the same way. I used to think an itchy scalp or a little dandruff in the winter was just normal. Until one day, I used a mint shampoo I used to love in my 30s, and my scalp felt wrong. It wasn't refreshing anymore. It felt tight, irritated, and painfully dry, like desert ground after a long drought. That was my wake-up call. My scalp had aged, just like the skin on my face. It had become thinner, more sensitive, and desperately thirsty. And the primary cause of that thirst is the decline of something called sebum, which is your body's natural oil. When we were younger, we saw this oil as the enemy, the thing that made our hair greasy, right? But after 50, sebum becomes your hair's most valuable asset. And here's a stunning fact for you. Researchers in the field of trichology, the science of hair, have shown that a woman's sebum production can decrease by up to 50% between the ages of 45 and 60. It gets cut in half. That is a massive biological shift. That natural oil is your body's built-in, perfect formula conditioner and protector. It keeps your scalp hydrated and balanced. Even more importantly, it coats each strand of your hair in a microscopic, waterproof shield that locks in moisture and creates natural shine. So what happens when that protective shield is suddenly 50% weaker? It's a two-part disaster. First, your scalp becomes dry, itchy, and hypersensitive to the chemicals in your products and even changes in the weather. Second, and this is critical, your hair shaft is left naked and exposed. It loses moisture to the air, becoming as dry and brittle as straw. It loses its shine, and it snaps and breaks with the slightest pressure. Does that sound familiar to you? This brings us to a major turning point, a fundamental shift in how we need to think. Based on everything we've just discussed, from the internal hormones to the external aging of the scalp. Do you see it now? Washing your hair after 50 can no longer be about just getting it clean. That mindset is obsolete. It's actually hurting you. From this moment forward, you need to elevate your hair washing from a simple chore into a targeted, therapeutic estrus treatment. It must become your opportunity to give back what nature is taking away. It's your chance to water the dry soil of your scalp, to shield your fragile hair, and to create the perfect environment for healthy growth to happen again. So, what does this treatment actually look like? How do we turn this routine into a real strategy for hair recovery? That is exactly what we are going to cover next, where I will walk you through, step by step, the 7-step art of washing your hair. Okay, now that you understand the why, it's time for the how. This is the most important part of our conversation today. This is the actionable game plan. I call it the asterisk 7-step hair recovery protocol. And I want you to stop thinking of these as rules and start thinking of them as the essential techniques for bringing your hair back to life. Let's start with step 1, the foundation of everything. Audit your products. Your shampoo is a tool, not just a soap. I am dead serious about this. Using the wrong shampoo will sabotage all of your efforts. So starting today, you are going to become a label detective. I want you to go into your bathroom, pick up your shampoo bottle, and look for the blacklist. First on that list, sulfates. That's SLS or SLES. These are harsh industrial detergents that strip every last drop of your scalp's precious, natural oils. Using a sulfate shampoo on hair over 50 is like washing a silk blouse with dish soap. It is destructive. Next, drying alcohols, often listed as alcohol DNAT. These ingredients literally suck the moisture out of your hair strands. And finally, heavy, non-water-soluble silicones. They give you that fake, slippery feeling of smoothness, but what they're really doing is coating your hair in a layer of plastic. This suffocates the hair shaft, weighs it down, and leads to dullness and buildup. I used a popular silicone-based shampoo for years, wondering why my hair felt so lifeless. It turns out, I was suffocating it every single day. So, what's on the gold list? What should you be looking for? Look for the building blocks of hair. Ingredients like biotin and peptides. Look for a master hydrator like hyaluronic acid for your scalp. And look for powerful botanicals like green tea and especially rosemary oil. In fact, clinical studies, including a well-known one published in the Skin Med journal, showed that rosemary oil was just as effective as minoxidil, the active ingredient in Rogaine, for stimulating new hair growth. The right ingredients are out there. You just have to look for them. Now, once you have the right tools, it's time for step 2. The temperature rule. You are not cooking your hair. Do you love a steaming hot shower? It might feel good on your muscles, but it is a nightmare for your hair. Hot water blasts open the hair's outer layer, the cuticle. This allows moisture and your expensive hair color to literally wash right down the drain. The ideal temperature is lukewarm, just warm enough to be comfortable. And here's the pro-level finisher. Always, and I mean always, end your final rinse with a blast of cool water. It doesn't have to be icy cold, just cool. This single action seals that cuticle shut, locking in moisture and conditioner. The result is instant shine. It's a non-negotiable step. Next, steps 3 and 4, which go together. The application technique. Massage, don't scrub. What's your current habit? Do you squeeze a giant blob of shampoo directly onto the top of your head? Stop doing that immediately. Instead, put the shampoo into your palms first and work it into a light lather before it ever touches your hair. This ensures an even, gentle application instead of a concentrated chemical hotspot. And now for the massage. Use the pads of your fingertips, never your nails. Ask yourself this right now. When you wash your hair, are you massaging your scalp, or are you scratching it? Use slow, circular motions. This isn't just about cleaning. This is about stimulating blood flow to your scalp, which delivers the oxygen and nutrients your follicles are starving for. This 2-minute massage is the most therapeutic thing you can do for your hair. Now we move to steps 5 and 6. The clean finish. Rinse thoroughly, condition strategically. As most people do not rinse their hair enough. Leftover product residue is the silent killer of volume and scalp health. It clogs your follicles. Here's my rule. When you think you're done rinsing, rinse for another 30 seconds. And now for the golden rule of conditioner. Conditioner is for your hair, not your scalp. Apply it only from the mid-lengths down to the ends. Keep it at least 2 inches away from your roots. Putting conditioner on your scalp is like putting heavy body butter on your face. It's too rich, and it will clog your pores. Period. You step out of the shower and you think you're done, right? Wrong. The final step, step 7, is where the most damage happens. The post-shower protocol. Your towel is the enemy. Look at your big, fluffy bath towel. If it's a traditional terry cloth towel, it is breaking your hair. Those rough loops snag on your fragile, wet hair strands and rip them. Replace it immediately with a soft microfiber towel or an old, clean cotton t-shirt. And you never, ever rub, scrub, or twist your hair. The technique is to gently blot and squeeze the excess water out. Blot and squeeze. Do not rub and destroy. This one simple change will save you hundreds of broken hairs over the course of a year. And that is the 7-step protocol. It might seem like a lot at first, but soon it will become second nature. It's the system that will lay the foundation for healthy hair for years to come. Okay, you've just learned the 7-step protocol for washing your hair the right way. Now, just as important, is learning to stop doing it the wrong way. It's time for some tough love. Let's talk about the bad habits, the silent assassins that are sabotaging your hair health without you even realizing it. First, let's tackle the biggest myth of them all. The frequency mistake. You are washing your hair too often. Be honest with me. How many times a week are you shampooing? Many of us were raised to believe that daily washing is the peak of cleanliness. And that might have been true when we were 20 and our scalps were producing a ton of oil. But that is not your reality anymore. As we've discussed, your scalp is now producing far less oil. Washing your hair every day is like taking sandpaper to a delicate piece of silk. You are stripping away the very little natural moisture you have left. This throws your scalp into a panic, and your hair ends pay the price by becoming brittle and dry. The sweet spot for most women over 50 is 2, maybe 3 times a week. You need to learn to listen to your scalp. If it feels greasy, wash it. If it feels balanced, let it be. Give it a day to rest and recover. So what do you do on those off days? Invest in a high-quality dry shampoo. Spray it at the roots. Wait a couple of minutes to let it absorb the oil, then massage it in. Or, a light mist of rosewater can also work wonders to refresh your scalp without a full wash. The second mistake is all about force. The technique mistake. You are being too aggressive. We touched on this in the 7 steps, but it is so critical I have to say it again. Stop using your fingernails to scrub your scalp. Your nails create microscopic tears on your sensitive skin, opening the door for irritation and bacteria. And stop roughing up your hair when it's wet. Here's a fact for you. When your hair is wet, it's in its weakest state. It can stretch up to 30% of its original length. And just like a rubber band that's been stretched too far, it snaps. Every time you aggressively rub your hair, you are snapping hundreds of fragile strands. Remember, wet hair is weak hair. Be gentle. The third category of mistakes happens after you even turn the water off. These are the post-shower sins. And the first one is an absolute deal breaker. Sleeping with damp hair. I know you're tired, but you have to stop doing this. The warm, moist environment you create on your pillow is a breeding ground, a paradise, for fungus and bacteria to grow. This leads directly to dandruff, itchiness, and even scalp inflammation. The second sin is brushing your hair when it's soaking wet with a standard brush. That is the fastest way to cause breakage and unnecessary shedding. The rule is simple. Use a wide tooth comb or a detangling brush specifically designed for wet hair. And always start from the ends and gently work your way up to the roots. Now, I know this can sound like a lot to remember, but I want to tell you a quick story to show you the incredible power of breaking these small habits. I had a client, let's call her Jane. She came to me completely defeated. She had a graveyard of expensive serums and treatments under her bathroom sink that had all failed her. Her hair was thinning, and her confidence was shattered. When we sat down, I discovered she was guilty of every mistake we just discussed. Daily washing with a harsh shampoo, scrubbing with her nails, wrapping her hair in a thick, rough towel. The first thing we did was not to add some new miracle product. The first thing we did was to asterisk subtract. We subtracted the daily washing, cutting it down to 3 times a week. We subtracted the rough towel and replaced it with an old cotton t-shirt. And I taught her how to massage her scalp gently. There was no overnight miracle. But after 1 month, she called me, and I could hear the excitement in her voice. She said the amount of hair she found in the shower drain had been cut in half. Her scalp didn't feel itchy anymore. 6 months later, she sent me a photo. Her hair looked fuller and healthier, yes. But the most important part was the huge, confident smile on her face. She told me the best part wasn't just her hair. It was that she had finally found joy in the act of taking care of herself again. Jane's story is living proof. The biggest transformations don't come from an expensive bottle. They come from changing the small, silent actions you take every single day. You have the power to rewrite the story of your hair. And that brings us to the next exciting part of this journey, where we'll explore some advanced rituals to take your hair health to the next level. So, let's just take a moment and acknowledge the incredible journey we just completed together. First, we got smart. We pulled back the curtain on the biology so you could understand the ester's real reasons your body and hair are changing. No more fear, no more guessing, only knowledge. Second, we got strategic. You learned the 7-step recovery protocol, a new ritual based on gentle, purposeful, and effective action. And finally, we got honest. We looked at the old habits, the silent mistakes, and we made a conscious decision to replace them with actions that heal and empower. Do you see it now? The power to restore your hair isn't in some expensive miracle bottle. It is in your hands. It is in your knowledge. You are in control. But I want you to leave here with something even more powerful than just the secret to great hair. This entire process is really a masterclass in how to connect with and honor your body in this amazing stage of life. It is an act of self-respect. It is a practice in patience. It is a choice to live with a positive, proactive mindset. Beauty at this age is not a battle to reclaim the past. Beauty now is the art of intelligently and lovingly caring for the incredible woman you are today. So this is your final mission, starting right now. The next time you look in the mirror, I want you to look at your reflection not with judgment, but with compassion. Let every time you step into the shower, every time that warm water flows over you, be a declaration. A reminder to yourself that says, I am worthy of this care. I am worthy of this love. Your hair, whether it is shimmering with the silver strands of wisdom or tells the story of your years, it is not a burden. It is a part of your beautiful, powerful story. It is your crown of experience, and you deserve to wear it with pride. Our journey today was incredible, wasn't it? You now have the most important foundations for building back your healthy hair. But mastering the rules for your 50s, as critical as it is only part one of the story. Because as we enter a new chapter, into our 60s and beyond, the game changes again. Our bodies continue to evolve, and there are new, more subtle mistakes that can silently sabotage all the progress we've made. If you are truly serious about staying confident, youthful, and beautiful at every single age, then my next video on healthy aging, 5 hair mistakes women over 60 make, and how to fix them instantly, is something you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can meet again and master that essential next piece of the puzzle. I'll see you there.